Hey everybody, this is Shirlene with SearlesCraftyWorld.com, and today I am coming to you with my first September installment of From Existing Well to Living Well. Well, I took the month of August off, and man did I learn a lot. The topic tonight is, and I saw it in a pad of paper at Michael's, a hot buy. I think it's the paper called Grace. You know, God is so magical the way He works sometimes, but um, I believe it's in the one called Grace, and the title is Grow Through What You Go Through. Grow through what you go through. And I got to thinking about that because you guys know I had my cancer battle, and with the treatment and everything, I have spinal stenosis. Currently, my knees are giving away on me. Like, it was one knee at first, then it's both knees, and I'm on a walker, have been now since 2015, and it's rough when you're trying to just walk and don't know when your knee's going to give out, and you could potentially fall, or if both knees give out. And if you lived any kind of life, you have experienced fear. And when I took the month of August off, God really began to talk to me. Not that He didn't talk to me before, but I never really sat down and just said, what is going on? Because I felt so lost. I knew in my before cancer life what I was doing, where I was going, my goals and dreams, but my after cancer, I just kind of got lost. I just couldn't figure out, and I think it's because of all the challenges as well now, and where do I go from here? Because this is not what Shirlene would have wanted. And as I'm going through the month, I had something really traumatic happen to a family member. And I had this strange peace about it, where we all should have been freaking out and what if and what could be's and how did this happen, but God just gave me a peace and said, trust me. And I was like, okay, I trust you, God. But there was so many times when the panic wanted to set in, like the fear wanted to come back. And you're trying to figure stuff out, and you're trying to guess, and you're trying, what can I do to fix it? What can I say? What can I pay? How do I get the money? All kind of stuff. And I would have to catch myself and say, Shirlene, you're not trusting God, you're trusting Shirlene. And that's because I'm type A, and I got that fix it mentality, just like the lady from Scandal. It's handled. Shirlene is on it. But I can't be on it because I have to trust God. He knows why things happen. His word says all things work together for the good of those who are called who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. I like how they say you got to love the Lord first, and then are called according. All of us have purpose. All of us have purpose, but all of us don't love the Lord. Okay? So I had to combat that fear, which was part of me growing spiritually, because learning to push, you can't have fear and faith. You can have one or the other. So I had to really start doing some faith exercises, I guess you could say. Some faith exercise. I had to exercise some faith, and tell myself. There were days I would tell myself, you trust God. So that means you just step away from it, take your hands off of it, take your mind off of it. Just trust God and watch God move. And I'm telling you, in 3 weeks time, the miracles God has done, just the move and the shift it's just awesome. And I'm so glad that I listened and I stayed out of it, and I was in tune to the peace, peace that's beyond any man's understanding. And I take that as growth for me. I really do. Another growth for me is not quitting. I think on the outside, I'm smiling, I'm inspiring, I'm creating, I'm crafting, I'm swapping, I'm doing all of this, but on the inside, I'm waving the white flag, because it seems like every time I take a step forward, I get knocked back 10 more. And it's been 3 years. 3 years of constant nerve pain, suffering extra pains, not being able to just get up and go like I used to before, having to have my husband be my caretaker, seeing him getting tired and old, and it's just, and I learned that I had to grow, because once I was able to trust God with that big thing, then I knew I could trust him with the little thing, as in my knees and my back or whatever. So I said, Lord, they say faith without works is dead. So I need to do my part. I began to pray. God, give me the strength to not eat the things that are bad for me. God, give me the courage to get up and walk on these knees and stretch my back, even when it hurts. Not to hurt myself, but to remind my muscles how they're supposed to work. To remind my joints how they're supposed to work. Lord, make me mindful of my exercises, even when I'm laying in bed. I'm always doing exercises, whether I'm flexing at the ankle, doing circles, leg lifts, whatever I have to do, knee exercises. Lord, let me live in my faith and less of my fear. My biggest fear is falling down. My biggest fear is falling. But guess what? If I fall, God still loves me. If I fall, God can still heal me. If I fall, I may feel embarrassed. I may feel bad. But God is still there for me. And so my biggest fear is falling. And I had to grasp that, because I would have full-blown anxiety attacks. And Mr. Bob can confirm it, because he would be the person trying to calm me down. My knee would give way, and I jerk, grabbing the walker to make sure I don't fall. And instantly I start shaking from the fear. I start breathing funny and just feeling like, and that's what anxiety is. It's the fear of something doom and gloom is about to happen. And that would be me, the fall. The fear of the fall. I am not a small woman, okay? I'm 300 plus, and you can tease me if you want to. It's just where I am today, okay? So if I fall, they send 911. They send the firemen to come get me up. If I'm not able to stand up on my own, they force me to go to the hospital. Now, the firemen don't take you to the hospital. They call the ambulance to come get you and take you to the hospital, okay? So now you got the ambulance bill. Then you sit in the hospital for 4, 5, 6 hours, and all they do is x-rays and load you up with drugs and tell you, all right, you're being released. Follow up with your PCP, which is your primary care physician. So now, because I fell, right, got one income coming into the house, that is Mr. Bob, all right, who's truth be told, to be soon ready for retirement. But so now we got this, these hospital bill on and ambulance bill on top of everything else. And I'm not trying to go out like that. I'm not trying to put him through that, more bills. I'm not trying to put myself through that, more stress, which can bring on cancer. And I'm like, no, I don't want to fall. So now I walk in faith, less fear, more faith. And I speak to my joints, and I speak to my muscles, and I do my exercises, and I watch what I eat. And I'm telling you, probably by December I'm gonna be sick of salad. I'm not gonna want to see another salad for the rest of my life. But for right now, for today, salad is getting it done. And I'm trying to get up out of this bed. Now I do get up out of this bed, and go to the bathroom. But I'm talking about, let's get up out of this bed and get to living. Let's get up out of this bed and get my craft room done, so I can have all my craft stuff in one place. Because right now, having to ask the mister to bring this and bring that to the bed for me is it's a lot. It's a lot. The bedroom is supposed to be for romance, not for crafting. So I'm excited to see where God takes me in this new walk. And I've had faith before, but you know what? If I'm going to be real about it, there's some things we have faith about and some things we don't, because we know we can handle it. If the car breaks down and you need money to get the car fixed, are you saying, God, give me the money to get the car fixed? Or are you going and hitting that savings account because or that emergency account, because you have that set aside for things like that? But God wants us to have faith in everything, the little things, the big things. And I think it was a big thing that had to come, and something that I had absolutely no control, could absolutely do nothing about, that I had to learn to really trust God. And then not even understanding why I had such great peace about it. I kept telling everyone, you know what? God's got this. It's going to be all right. I have a peace about it. It's going to be all right. I can just feel it. It's going to be all right. It may take some time, but it's going to be all right. And as I began to share that with others who would be affected by the situation, they too began to have peace about it. They too began to speak positively. And I was like, wow. You always hear the quote, misery loves company. And that's so true. But when you have faith, you stand, whether you're by yourself. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That is what my peace was. It was comfort. Absolute comfort. God don't want you stressed out. He don't want you all upset and he wants you to be comfort and joy and serving him and worshiping him and thanking him. And I thank God that I'm learning to grow through what I go through. You see, this whole ordeal could tear me down completely if I let it. It could tear me if I start thinking, woe is me. I can't live like this. What kind of life am I going to have? I can't walk good. I need to be able to move to get the weight off. It's a vicious cycle. I'm just going to die, like one of my doctors told me, because I wouldn't do the bariatric surgery. I'm just going to die. That's his confession. That's not mine. My confession is I'm going to beat this. My confession is I'm going to help others that may seem like they're stuck because of a health condition or a body condition or a limb condition and think that they can't get where they need to get. I'm going to share the faith and the peace and the comfort with them. And it's a one day at a time situation. You can't change the past. I can't go back into 2013 and tell the doctor, no, you can't tell me I have cancer. I can't go back into January of 2014 and tell the oncologist, no, you can't take my thyroid out my body. I can't go back into 2014 and tell them, no, I don't want to go through the radiation treatment. And then be sick as a dog afterwards with things I have never, boils and lack of saliva and, oh my gosh, yeast infections and, oh my God, all kind of hair falling out and teeth acting crazy. I had to go see the dentist. And let me tell you, and then the stenosis, which I'm told would have came like 20 years down the road. But because of the treatment, it sped it up. It was already starting. So, I can be mad that I didn't get my 20 years to finish run around and live life. Or I can say, well, Lord, I'm slowed down, but I'm still breathing. I'm slowed down, but I'm still moving. Moving slowly. And now my knees. 1 pound is 4 pounds of pressure on your knees. Okay? So I am currently, according to the doctors, what they call morbid obese. And that might be why they so easy to say dead. But I call the devil a lie and I keep on moving. Because if God wanted me dead, I'd be dead. God wants me here for a reason. There are those who may be stuck in the same situation. There are those who may be going through cancer treatments and dealing with the after effects. Granted, it was thyroid cancer, which is not promoted as much as the bigger ones like the breast cancer and stuff like that. But thyroid cancer kills people. I was stage 3. Stage 4 is usually when you start to get near death. I was stage 3. It takes 5 to 6 years for it to develop in my body to get to stage 3, which would explain why other little things in my body was going on. And the doctors were basically telling me it was in my head. I wasn't sick. But I was. Cancer don't hurt until it really affects something. It could have kept on growing. I didn't know anything was wrong until I was one of those kitchen beauticians. And one day I went to go wash the relaxer out my hair in the kitchen sink, like I always did every 4 to 6 weeks. And I started to choke. I couldn't breathe because, you got to put your head down under the sink so your head's bending down. I couldn't breathe when I did that. And it scared me so. So I had to do it really quick, up, down, because I had to wash this stuff out of my head before my hair be going down the drain. I got it done. But it was scary having a hair full of relaxer. And if you put your head down to rinse it off, you get sick. If you keep your head up, you couldn't breathe. If you keep your head up too high, you're going to have water spraying all over the whole kitchen. Because I used the little sprayer thing that comes out the faucet. Oh my gosh. And it was then I went to a physical, went for my normal physical in November 2013. And the doctor said, what's going on with this knot in your neck? And I said, it's been bothering me. I went to go wash my hair in the kitchen sink like I always do, because I put chemicals in my hair. Now, I didn't get into details because he's a Caucasian man. He probably don't know what a relaxer even is. But I said, but when I put my head down, it started to choke me like it was cutting off my hair. And he was like, that's not good. I want you to go get that biopsy. And sure enough, a week later, they called me and said, we found cancer. Well, they called me into the office and told me. And I think me and Bob knew the minute they said, can you come to the office within the hour? And I was like today? They was like, yeah, within the hour. I was like, okay. And when I told Bob that, it was the most quietest ride to the office ever. I'll never forget it. It was crazy. Just to hear him say it. I think we already knew something was up, but to hear him say it. And I look at Bob, Bob looks at me, and I don't freak out. I go into general mode. All right, what we got to do, get this taken care of. All right? He's like, oh, I'm going to send you to the top guy at Yale. I was like, Yale Smilo Hospital. I'm like, okay. That's a cancer hospital. Yale's a good school, top of the line. Well, he wasn't available until January 14th. This is December 3rd. You telling me I got to stay for another month and 2 weeks with this stuff in my body. I want it out now. So again, learning to have faith, and I shared the news with my family, and you know, it was probably one of the best Christmases we had because all the family had gathered together because we didn't know if I was going to see another Christmas, and it's just weird how things happen, but make sure you grow through what you go through. And how do you grow through it? You learn from it. You learn what you learn. For me, I learned who I am. I learned how strong I am. Oh my gosh. I always told everybody I'm a do or die soldier for Christ, okay? But I'm learning that I am pretty strong. I go through a lot. I don't share everything with y'all on here because that ain't necessary, but I go through a lot, and I think my strength helps others and inspires others. I never thought that I inspired people. I've had a couple of people tell me, "You inspire me," and I'm like, "Little old me? I ain't doing nothing." And my husband said, "I keep telling you, you don't know how much you inspire people, Shirlene." I'm just living my life, y'all. I'm just trying to do good, trying to be good, trying to let my legacy be good, trying to let that, if God chooses to take me home any one of these days, that when people think back about me, that it'll bring a smile to their face and not a tear to their heart. Unless there's someone close, like my children or my husband, who will cry but will probably still smile because they know, who I was and what I was about. And I'm not looking for nobody's approval. I'm not looking for nobody's neglect either. But as long as God approves, I got everything I need. And I will have everything I need in His timing, not in mine. Because if it was up to me, shoo, I'd be running amok. Y'all just don't know. But as it is right now, my car out there hasn't been ran since 2015. And I had to make a decision that I'm going to just go ahead and donate her to, because she does need a little bit of work, and she's 20 years old. She's 1998 Chevy Cavalier. I'm a Chevy girl. So I'm hoping to get an Equinox when we move to Arizona. I'm hoping to grab me a decent Chevy Equinox to run around in. But right now, this one I bought her back in 2000, the end of 2000. So she's done me well, but I gotta let her go, and that car has a lot of memories. It drove us from Arizona to Connecticut in 5 days with no problems. Me, Bob, and the kids in the back seat. And we got here safely and everything and became a family. But it's just sitting there taking up space in the driveway. So I will be finding a charity to donate her to, the ones that you donate cars to, and she will get donated. Now, y'all know God, He blesses you. You never know where the blessing will come from. So I'm not going to worry about it. I pray that He keep the running car that Mr. Bob uses to get to work every day running, and we keep up with the maintenance, and everything will be okay. We are definitely having to downsize anyway, because Mr. Bob wants to get an apartment when we move to Arizona. He doesn't want to get a house. House comes with responsibilities and fixings and all of that. And I think he's just tired of having to do all that stuff. So, and we got a lot of what I call flip work to do in this house before we sell it. So, we are definitely going to have to downsize, which is fine with me. Because if it was up to me, I'd get a tiny house. But he's not tiny house ready. Me, I get a tiny house. So if I had things my way, I'd be buying some land in Tucson and putting a double wide mobile home for the main house, and get a tiny house for guests, or maybe 2 tiny houses, one for guests and one for my mom to live in. But it has to be a 1 level, so that she can have her own and don't feel like she's embarking on our main home, on the main house. which is probably going to be lively because I love to barbecue at the drop of a hat. I miss grilling. And I'm looking forward to bonding more with my grandchild, who is in her terrible two stages right now, but she's still my precious granddaughter, and I want to share with her, going to the mall and crafts and planners and all that stuff, and being a gracious lady. She does have a little toot about her, but I want her to keep that because um, the world is a tough place, and God will give her what she needs for the time that she lives in. So, but she can be gracious and just also let folks know you ain't gonna mess me over, and that's okay with me. But um, back to living well. Grow through what you go through, because if it's not for you to learn from it, you'll be able to help others who will go through or are going through the same thing you have. So leave a positive imprint behind. So, with that, I will say be blessed and remember to grow through what you go through, and don't give up. God bless you all. Bye for now.